Okay, so it's official. Vince Russo is back in the wrestling world. He is finally employed again. He is no longer on food stamps because a company wanted him, as long as he paid them. Yes, Vince Russo, a huge part of the success behind the Attitude Era and to a lesser extent WCW, actually no extent with that one, and TNA, which despite what people say, he did have some of its best years when he was there. Now the Hawk has to admit, I got it wrong a month ago. I was sure he was writing for the National Wrestling Alliance and he addressed these rumours and shot them down. But he has now put out a video confirming that he is indeed back, but for Juggalo Championship Wrestling. And this time he's invested his own money in the product and he will be the main writer of the show. He gave an 8-minute speech for Hannibal TV about what we can expect now that he's back, and to be honest, I did agree with a few of his points. Mainly that wrestling needs to change, and nobody is trying to be different out there. I've been saying this stuff for years. Must be a fan of the Hawk, or parrots. He said JCW was like ECW, and he begged the Attitude Era fans to come back and give JCW Lunacy a chance. He says Lunacy will be better than Raw. Wrestling is officially back. Now I have watched JCW Lunacy before, but not for any continuous amount of time. The Hawk likes Juggalos. The Hawk somewhat agrees with Russo, and the Hawk is a degenerate, so this could be a good show for me. Violent J starts out the show screaming how much he hates Vampiro. I believe Vamp recently returned to JCW with a couple of wrestlers who were supposed to be fired. The opening theme song is very catchy, but I will say this though. A bit of advice, because I doubt anyone involved is aware of this. Way too much swearing in the first minute of this show, and YouTube punishes that sort of stuff. Fuck 'em up, fuck 'em up, get 'em with 'em up. Considering you're most likely relying on YouTube for your ad revenue here, don't do it. The Hawk isn't against swearing. In fact, I love swearing, but this is a business at the end of the day. Vampiro now appears threatening Violent J with Madman Pondo and Mickey Knuckles in tow. What, did they all break out of an old people's home? Is this the cutting edge product that will bring the Attitude Era fans back? You know how Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah looked to us as kids? Well, these people look even worse. Vampiro moves on to talk about how much he hates Too Tough Tony, the champion of this promotion. He says he's going to end up in hospital tonight. We see the ring for the first time, and it looks smaller than the recent NWA shows, but similar to some of their others. It's a tag match to start out with a team who have Pinky and the Brain gimmicks. Who remembers that show? To be honest, the theme song was bigger than the actual show. They will face a wrestler that's called Stephen Flo, Croat the Raisin, nevermore. His tag team partner is the Devil's favourite dealer, Cocaine. I heard that they kept getting in trouble for this gimmick, so they have scaled it back a lot since I last saw him. Stephen Flo will be the cruiserweight wrestler of this team, and Kane is the powerhouse man. Stinky and the Brain cheat to turn the match. The comedy team talk about the big storyline being a new mystery investor, which is obviously going to be Vince Russo. Stinky and the Brain hit Stephen Flo with a double electric chair drop for a 2 count, and eventually Kane gets the hot tag, and it seems like this powerhouse actually has some athleticism along with his power. Kane throws powder in his own face and then hits a choke slam into his knee. Even Flo drops the elbow as well, but it's just a 2. Other moves happen for a while, and then Kane tries to end this match for Spike Piledriver, which is broken up. Stinky and the Brain rub salt into the wounds when they win the match for double Even Flow DDT. Pretty fun match, it's just a shame that everybody looks so indie-rific. I think that's gonna be Russo's biggest hurdle he has to overcome on his path to beating WWE RAW. He isn't gonna have the star power available to him. Caleb Connolly and some other homeless wrestler walk around in front of a trap house. They are trying to sell t-shirts. Love how the crowd don't care that there's wrestlers here. They give some little kids a t-shirt, but the kids complain the shirt is too big. The answer is all 3 of you wear it at once. The kids aren't impressed and they throw it in the trash. The JCW American title is on the line next. Ninja Mack will challenge for Caleb Connolly's belt. He gets a very long intro from his homeless friend. Ninja Mack is of course stylized based on the luchador the Great Sasuke. The heels cheat to stop this luchador offense. The YouTube advert breaks in Lunacy are out of control. It's like when they uploaded this to YouTube when they were asked how many adverts they wanted and they just said yes. It spoils your enjoyment of the show, tone it down. 1 minute and you've already seen 20 adverts. You've also seen 20 out of shape wrestlers. I guess Vince Russo needs a big paycheck. I still like the Ninja Mack though, his moves are pretty fun. Caleb tries to cheat with a belt shot which doesn't work. The ref doesn't let the ninja finish him off for some reason. And then the homeless friend interferes and Caleb wins with a moonsault. Again, not much to say. Russo must be wondering what the hell he's walked into here. Now we get hype for the Insane Clown Posse behind the scenes book that they're putting out. Unfortunately, most of their fans are unable to read. Up next, a match between two guys I am pretty familiar with. Powerhouse Shane Mercer. He has unfitting demon-like music, even though he just looks like a guy. A very strong guy, but still just a guy. And he takes on the Mack attack, Willie Mack. Willie Mack has basically been one of the guys that JCW has pushed as their big attraction. Unfortunately, it is the slowest starting match I've ever seen, and the first big move is a nipple cripple. I'm not even joking. Shane Mercer is usually a fun powerhouse to watch, but this isn't a good matchup for him. Interestingly, Willie Mack has been teaming up with Cowboy James Storm recently. Yeah, James Storm is in this promotion, but no sign of him tonight. It's funny how you've got former TNA World Champions who could really do with a final run in that company, but they just want nothing to do with them. This crowd is really tough on Shane Mercer. They couldn't care about him if they tried. Mercer even suplexes Willie Mack and they still don't care. Willie Mack wins this one with a stunner. This show feels nothing like ECW, and I don't see how anything about this is different to your run-of-the-mill indie show. Someone should smack Russo one. The women's title will be on the line next. A crazy girl with huge eyes is the champion. Wow, look at the ring girl. Good to see that the challenger is Hollywood Hailey J. Is anybody else watching surprised that she is still on the indies? I'm not saying she's the greatest woman ever, but she's better than lots with regular gigs. What's holding her back? I don't really get it. The Hawk is not often stumped, but here I am. She even has some of that popularity from that Netflix show she did. For some reason, her mum is here with her too. That's not going to help her get signed. The champion is Big Eyes Alice Crowley. It sounds like Hailey has failed in a few title challenges for this girl. Hailey almost wins the roll-up, but Alice Crowley has her own roll-ups. It's a pretty impressive start. The pins keep getting traded. This has been bothering the Hawk for a while now. Why does it seem to be easier to find competent women's wrestlers on the indies? Most of the men are slow and plodding, yet on almost any show on the indies you can find women who are completely acceptable. Male wrestlers need to step up their games. This already is better than any other match I've seen today. Nice leg sweep from Hollywood now into a running knee to the back of the head. She follows Alice out of the ring with a dive. She gets jumped on the way back into the ring and hit with a DDT. Alice almost beats her again with a fisherman suplex. Nice strike combination from Alice now. Hailey fights off a Saito suplex and she dives off the top with a crossbody. She keeps going with a slow motion super kick and a clothesline for a 2. Alice dodges a curb stomp, catches a crossbody and hits a swinging side slam for a 2 count. Then Alice crushes Hailey with a Saito suplex and she is left in a crumpled ball on the floor. She can't finish off Hailey, who wakes up with a super kick, a big knee and a curb stomp, and that's the 3. Hailey J is making her way off 8 Mile Road and she's starting to make something of her life, and she is the new champion. How far is this girl going to go in wrestling? But the bigger question is her mum. How many drinks, guys? In the back, a dork investigator finds... Oh wow, that's random. The masked moron Life Taker himself is in JCW. Except he now has hair greasily spilling out of his mask. The investigator wants to team up with him or something, and that exciting match is next. A strange man introduces his tag team of the Dead Twins. The crowd are so horrible here, they don't react to anything. I hate them. I guess these two are zombies. I have to admit, they do look fresh out of The Walking Dead. Very impressive makeup work here. Whoever did this for them, or if it was you guys, top marks. How far can a zombie gimmick truly go in wrestling though, because they aren't known to move with any sort of pace, and they won't be able to talk either. The opponents are the man known for taking his own life, and as far as I'm aware it's just Caleb Conley under that mask. He portrayed the mask more on towards the end of TNA as well. His tag team partner is Inspector Dickhead. The zombies do special poses. The investigator is also a priest or something because he holds a cross up at them. He gets distracted and the other zombie bites him. Off with his arm then, it's the only way to save him. Sadly, that doesn't happen, and instead the investigator holds a pot of holy water at the zombies, and this proves to be a bit more effective, I think. Well, perhaps not. The zombie is playing possum. Suddenly, the man famous for taking his own life crossbodies the zombies. So we've got 3 dead people fighting now. This is great. Now the investigator throws holy water at the zombie. Comically, he hits his own partner by mistake. The zombies start acting like the zombies from World War Z. They go nuts. They hit a Russian leg sweep kick combination. Just a 2. I actually kind of dig this zombie gimmick. Imagine if you had 2 huge guys doing it. That would be genuinely pretty scary for people. When I was a little kid, I thought Viscera, The Undertaker and Gangrel were scary, so why not these guys? Because they're zombies, they can get away with little botches too. It's not as if they're alive, so you can't expect to look perfect. They're not going to come out wrestling like Dean Malenko, that wouldn't make sense. The Life Taker wipes out both of the zombies at once, but only gets a 2. He does the old pose on the ropes from his TNA days to send the zombies out of the ring, and then he dives at them. The investigator hits a slam, but the Life Taker manages to miss a swanton bomb. Hilariously, one of the zombies sprays bad breath at the investigator and he sells it like it really hurt him. The zombies hit a net break, a crossbody combination for the win. The manager swears they will be the next tag team champions. Most interesting match on this show for me. We see Shaggy 2 Dope for the first time meeting with his brother Violent J. He says a new investor has purchased a huge chunk of the company and they will be here next week. Can't wait to tune in for that one. Now everybody's favourite grandma Ricky Morton cuts a promo. He is the JCW Battle Royal Champion, which is just a crazy concept. I've never seen that before. He will be having one of these Battle Royal matches tonight and his son will be part of that match. He will beat up his son tonight and that match is next. The belt looks so ridiculous. Look at the size of this thing. Have you ever seen a belt that big before? I expect that's the point though, isn't it? His son is conveniently the second entry. I guess NWA gave him the day off. Why is this nicknamed the Climax? The Grandma eliminates his son straight away. Bad indie gimmicks start to fill up the ring. Russo is screwed. He should have thought twice before claiming they could beat Raw. Damn it, these people are horrible. There's so much rubbish here. They even have to resort to recycling gimmicks from the previous matches. See, the reason this isn't like ECW is that yes, you had crazy strange stuff in ECW, but you could also find good wrestling. It was a nice balance. That is the issue of wrestling. There is no balance. It's all skewed towards one type of wrestling fan. Besides, I'm a fucking YouTuber and I'm in better shape than everyone in this match. Except that basketball gimmick guy. He looks good. Vince Russo better try and get his money back. He'd have an easier time doing the NWA, I mean that. Shane Mercer clears all the jobbers from the ring because he seems to be one of the few proper wrestlers in this company. Oh wow, then a woman with a massive BBL enters. I see a big bright future for this woman. She makes Ella Envy look like cardboard. She dances with Shane Mercer whilst the commentary team compare her to Rikishi. Because I sure wasn't thinking about Rikishi. Mercer powers her to the top rope and throws her with a sack of shit. She is done in this match. I didn't even realise that everybody's favourite grandma is still in there. Oh wow, I think Cheeks is here. The final entry is literally Bigfoot. The crowd groan with anger. Do you think this will be Vince Russo's first signing to SEX 2.0? It'll either be him or the gifted Glenn Gilberti. How is he gifted? The wrestlers all stop to stare in amazement. Cheeks is eliminated. At least the ring survived this time. Everybody's favourite grandma starts chucking people out and going mental. They all get thrown out. Oh, Jesus Christ, it comes down to Ricky Morton and Bigfoot. Bigfoot boots him in the nutsack and off comes the mask and it's the son. What a surprise. Kerry Morton wins the match and is the new champion. He celebrates in his knickers. Too Tough Tony gets a pep talk for his son and Too Tough dedicates this match to him. Matt Cardona has overdone it on the Just for Men Black. He will be the challenger and says he's here to save the promotion. He promises to make the son call him Daddy tonight. Matt Cardona versus Too Tough Tony for the JCW title in front of his home crowd. Before the match, he bribes the crowd to cheer from him by tipping Bacardi down all their throats. I love how the old grandma says no thank you. This goes on for a while. Cardona dumps in his nappy of anger for ages and threatens to leave. He then squares up to Tony's kid, which fires up Too Tough. I love how Tony has his name imprinted into the back of his shirt, for without it, he'd just be a random old bald guy. In the ring, Tony hits a Pele kick, and calling it that is a bit of a stretch, but not bad for a guy his size. Cardona gets on top of him and almost wins with a boot in the corner. Matt Cardona rubs his shirt on his ass and throws it in the kid's face. Hilarious. I bet he still won't wash that mullet tonight. The ultimate heel move. Tony eventually powerbombs him after 10 punches in the corner. Cardona kicks him in the nutsack and hits the Rough Rider for a 2. I have watched a lot of Matt Cardona matches, and he never seems to win. Then there's a ref bump. Tony hits the Death Valley driver, but there's no ref. The group from earlier, Vampiro, Mickey Knuckles and Pondo, all interfere. They team up on Too Tough Tony. Cardona smashes him with a belt shot, but there's still no ref. He does eventually wake up, but he only counts to 2. Somehow, Tony comes back and hits a moonsault, and then he sets his hand on fire and smacks Cardona one. And that's how the match ends. The heels are extremely upset about these actions because they were apparently the same actions that caused them to get fired. Get it? Fired. Well, not exactly many storylines on this show, just random gimmicks all thrown together. I just don't see how Russo is going to beat Raw with this show. How is he going to make this work? Unless someone like James Storm is going to be the guy? I can't see him or Cardona doing this regularly. So who does that leave? Because Russo won't have invested his money in this company and just to be slumming it with ancient out-of-shape wrestlers as their main draws. I did enjoy some of the gimmicks. I like the zombie twins. The women did well, but as established, I expected that. Would you like me to watch next week to see Vince Russo's on-screen debut? Why does Russo have to make an on-screen debut? It's WCW all over again. Does this prove that he hasn't learnt his lessons? Can't he just stay in the back and write for them, concentrate on that? To be fair though, I mean, he'd probably be the best well-known face on this show. Am I wrong about that? All that aside, I'm probably going to withhold my judgment of the JCW Lunacy show till I've watched a few shows back to back, and if you don't agree with that, I'll give you a smack.